failure has shaped all of my success. Like, I look for places to fail, because if you're not failing, like, what are you learning?
They want us there for certain, for numbers, right? But in terms of actual power, willing to be led by us is a whole nother story. And that's the question. Like, how come, you all can make videos talking about, listen to what Black women are telling you to do, except for when we want to run the place and tell you what to do.
I have given enough. I am going to give to myself. And the fact that people are critical of that is, I think, indicative of this idea that as Black women, we are made for service, even when that service is not in the best interest of our mental or physical health.
Yeah, I think that the idea of duty, it should not be just one set of folks who have duty, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody else sitting on the sidelines rooting for you to put yourself through some pain or to do something. And, when you need that help, will they be there?
Welcome back to another episode of the Feminine and Formidable podcast, where we dive into the real issues that we face as women. I'm your host, Sarah Williams.
And I'm Kira Fonteneau. So what have you been up to this week, Sarah?
This has actually been a chill week, except, I say chill. We're getting ready for school to start. And then I'm getting ready for trial. I've got a med-mal trial week after next.
Oh, that's not bad. Just a little
Some crazy times, actually. I say it
trial. I mean, nothing much. Just a little
med-mal wrongful death case against a friend, which I always hate.
Well, hey, you have to, because you might not like people after you have a trial with them.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, though, we just got summary judgment entered. So one of the doctors was dismissed. And I was kind of bummed about it, but then the doctor that's left is being defended by a friend of ours. You know how there are those lawyers that bring out like the worst in you? Mm-hmm. Like the other defense lawyer, I would have to really keep my attitude in check. But the one that's left, actually, he has so much personality that it brings out the best in me, because I'm like, what you're not going to do is out personality me.
Yeah. Like, I don't need to watch. I know this. I need to come watch. This is probably Caribbean trial.
You know what?
Yeah. Is it in Jefferson?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I might come watch.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like at the summary judgment hearing, as soon as he got up, he started talking. I was like, oh, bet. Oh.
This is what
we're doing. I got a little wacko dazzle. Like, okay, I was buttoned up, but now
we're gonna button in the. Let it slide. Okay, all right. I'm gonna put on my calendar, because I believe this may be one to watch. I don't know if anybody else finds. I guess they have a whole channel for court TV or whatever. I don't know if I find trials fascinating.
Oh, for sure,
fascinating. And jury deliberations, to me, I wish I was called to jury duty and they wouldn't take me. I don't know why they wouldn't take me, and I was so upset because I wanted to serve.
I did too. So bad that I went up to a court administrator and I was like, hey, I really want to do this. I need you to not put me on a civil docket. Like, go ahead and send me over to the criminal courthouse, because look, I'm going to get struck.
Yeah.
She was like, okay. So they send me over there. I get in there. My law school trial team member, one of my that I was, on a team with, she's the lead prosecutor. One of my students is the second chair prosecutor. My trial team coach is the lead defense lawyer. And then another one of my students was the public defender. They just looked at me. They all looked at me and shook their head. The judge called me back in chambers, because they went up to talk to him. And he was like, so we're going to go ahead and let you go home. I was like, No, I said, can I just sit through voir dire? He said, no, because you're going to say something.
No.
Yep.
That's messed up. So I actually got called not long after I got fired from the public defender's office. And I got called for jury duty. And they called me onto a case, and they called me on the one in the criminal courthouse. And like all those cases, they technically were my client for a little bit. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm waiting, and then they settled the case. So I didn't even get stripped. So I was like, I think I have to be. But I got called about 3 or 4 times to different trials over the course. I was like, you know how they talk about the end of the jury pool, like the Wednesday jury pool?
Yes.
I was that girl. I was coming back. I had my little laptop. I was ready to go.
Listen, they just sent me home. They were like, it's not going to happen. We're just going to waste your week. I was so sad because I will keep a lawyer on my jury.
Yeah.
Now, at that time, I was managing the firm, right? And so it's like, okay, she's the face of this large, plaintiff's firm. Like, I'm not going to I knew I wasn't going to end up on a civil jury.
Correct.
Anyway, how are you taking your cape off this week?
Well, I didn't tell you what I did for the week. We just got off track, but I'm fine. We just got back from Junior Olympics, so I do need to brag on my kid a little bit.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
So we did not have this is a good lesson too, because we did not have the Junior Olympics we thought we were getting. Well, actually, we knew that she was not competitive to win, so it was really more about the experience.
Yeah.
And it was a really humbling experience for the girl. I love her to death, and she is undeterred. But it was hot. And it was
Houston, right?
Yeah, it was in Houston. It was super duper hot, and she let her mind get out of whack, and so she just was out of sorts the first day, and it kind of went downhill from there. But then by Friday, she was like, "Okay, I know what I have to do. So I'm actually,
She'll be back.
Yeah. She was like, "I want to get a trainer. I want to do this. I want to do that." She was like, "I can do it." She went there and she had a rough day, and she was like, "No, I can do it. I have the potential to do this. I can be faster. I know that." And that's the difference in track. It isn't actually your physical limitations.
It's your mental.
It is you saying, "I can be faster." If you tell yourself you can be faster, you can be faster. So,
you know what? And we've got to do next episode. We need to talk about failure. We've talked about it a little bit, but I do think that failure has shaped all of my success. Right? And I look for places to fail, because if you're not failing, what are you learning?
And there was a guy at the at the track meet who had a T-shirt that said that. To say, I don't lose. I either fail or I learn. I either win or I learn. That's it. So I was like, that is the right, because they bring. I mean, there were thousands of kids. This was a we were going when we were there for the 4x100. You couldn't even get a cell signal. That's how many people were packed in this. It was thousands of kids. I guess at least 1,000 kids. Who qualified to run. So everybody's not gonna win. They're just not. And everybody's not gonna be an All-American. Everybody's not gonna be in the top 3, 4, whatever. It's gonna be 100, maybe 5 or 10% of these kids are gonna actually get a medal. And so everybody else is out there just doing it to get better. And that's the experience. So seeing that parent with the T-shirt saying, "I don't lose, I win or I learn," was like, okay, let's put this in perspective.
So, yeah,
let's put it in perspective.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. So when am I taking my cape off?
How are you taking your cape off after?
Girl, I'm not. I ain't gonna lie to you. I am not. I got nothing. I am grinding. Okay. I spent a week trying to work from a hotel room and then scoot off to a track meet in the middle of the day all day. I am struggling. I will not be taking my cape off this week.
Yeah, you had to dust it off. You went in the Incredibles. You went in the closet and got your super suit.
I had to get my super suit, and it's still on. It's gonna be on. We're going on a little bit of a vacation, little go back to school vacation next week, because we don't go back till next week.
What?
Yeah, so it goes back next Friday. Not this week.
Okay. We gotta look into this. This Thursday, like, so we start school on Thursday, and I'm like, this is so silly. This is so silly. It's hot. The weather's bad, right? We gonna go for 2 days. They're not gonna do anything, right? They're gonna forget where their locker is on Monday. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's funny. You do have to have those weeks where it's like, nah, I gotta be Superwoman this week.
Yeah. So can I also brag on private school again?
Yeah.
We get out earlier too. We start later, we get out earlier. They be taking vacations. They get vacations all throughout the year. They get 2 spring breaks. It is wild. It is wild. And they go to school 1 day a week at 9. Yeah. 1 day a week they start at 9.
Yeah. My kid would love that.
All right. Anyway, so moving on.
Well, I am taking my cape off a little bit. Because you know how it is when you're getting ready for trial and kids getting ready for school, and like right now is an intense time. The fall is always, I feel like, that way. But you would be proud of me because I decided this year is, or like beginning of the year, I said this is gonna be my year of audacity, and I think people were like, "Oh, what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do?" And it wasn't audacity in terms of what I'm doing. It was audacity in terms of what I'm saying no to, because I am a notorious people pleasing. Well, how does she do it all? I can't. And what I realized was, like, I started doing these things in law school, and when I was a new lawyer, and when I didn't have a child or a family, and as I added responsibilities, I didn't take anything away. I just kept piling on. And so this year, I have been peeling off the responsibilities. So, I used to teach every year. I used to coach mock trial, which I realized took up so much of my fall calendar. Like, I've been looking at my fall calendar, like, what's missing? What's missing? My paralegal was like, I think we're missing something. Like, this doesn't feel right. And I said, you know what we're missing? That class twice a week, practice 3 times a week, 2 competitions in the fall that were like, I'd be gone for 5 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you realize, like, I had built this life around, like, I was scheduling my life around serving people instead of scheduling my life and then figuring out how to fit service in. And so, even though you'd be proud of me, even though folks have tried to reel me back in and give me a little guilt trip, I have been firm in my note. And that's what I've taken my cape off, because I've been firm in that I'm not doing it.
So,
Pick somebody.
I think you have to have these like these periods of no, and I think then you can kind of get some perspective and add back in. After I left the public defender's office, I was like, I ain't doing none of this. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. I ain't do that. Y'all can go do whatever y'all gotta go do. Right? I'm like hermit. And then COVID hit, I was definitely like, and I'm not.
Right.
I see I'm creeping back in. Like, I'm creeping back in, but it's much more selective. It's much more like, I can handle this. I'll be on this board and this board and this board. And then also, I think too, I'm getting to the point in the career, like, where I have decided that I've done a lot of that grunt work that you do in your earlier years, and that somebody else needs that opportunity. Now, I don't really need that opportunity. I don't need to be in front of everything that could be. Like, y'all do it if you want to, And so it's much more, oh yeah, this one looks like a good one. This one looks like something I could spend my time at. This one requires the amount of time I'm willing to give.
Right.
Yeah.
I am, and I feel like this is a trend amongst Black women. And I think it's important to talk about, because you see Kamala Harris this week made the announcement that she was not going to run for governor of California, which I didn't even realize that was on the table. I'm like, she put together this campaign in like 107 days. Like, she has to be exhausted. And Michelle Obama, right? During the election, everyone's like, where is she? What is she doing? She needs to be out. And it's like, I have given enough. I am going to give to myself. And the fact that people are critical of that is, I think, indicative of this idea that as Black women, we are made for service, even when that service is not in the best interest of our mental or physical health.
They've been saying, like, yeah, where are you? Why are you not out here? Y'all did not. She had a plan to address these issues. Y'all said you didn't like the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's supposed to keep working? You don't like her solution.
You don't like it.
You didn't want what she had. So, like, how are we going to be like, oh, yeah, we didn't do what we needed to do to put the person we thought was competent into the job. And so now we want her to go fix some stuff. No. No, we're not. Like, he owes them zero. If she never wants to do anything in public, like, if she never wants to speak out. And I remember too, after I got fired from the public defenders, this is after I got fired episode, but I like the next public defender was a D1 crash out. Like, he did all the things. And so the news called me and asked me to comment on what that fool was doing. And I said, now what could I possibly say to add to this discourse?
That's the one that was dropping N-bombs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I had some students working there, former students working there at the time.
It was so bad that like 8 lawyers wrote a letter to the Office of Finance saying, he's so racist, I don't think I can be an effective lawyer. Okay. Which is, and the public defender's office, that's right. You know, that
in Birmingham, Alabama, you probably should not be racist.
I'm not, listen. It's a position to take. Is not the one I would suggest. So, you know, they had that. And so, like, you know, the news is calling me saying, well, what do you think about it? I was like, no comment.
Right.
Like that. What?
Don't ask me. I don't want to talk about it. Y'all told me what y'all thought about my opinions on this office.
And that isn't, and it is living its truth. It is doing what it does. Y'all do whatever y'all want to do with it. You know?
Yeah, it's like, don't reject us, but then look for us when there's a need. It's like, Black women, we're catching it, right? But then when the country's in trouble, it's like, oh, where are they? We're in Scotland. And
what you told us to be.
You told us you don't want us. Now, you know, we're gonna show up and do the things like our brave sisters in Texas are.
They're actually in Illinois.
Oh, that's right. Right.
They're in Illinois. Listen, it's gonna be interesting. I think, I believe that years and years and years ago, I used to say, I was thinking about like how taken for granted my vote was, right? And so I understand, like, I'm a Democrat all day, twice on Sundays, but people they want us there for certain, for numbers, right? But in terms of actual power, and willing to be led by us is a whole nother story. And that's the question. Like, how come, you all can make videos talking about, listen to what Black women are telling you to do, except for when we want to run the place and tell you what to do.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think that our tendency to be the ones to say the thing that no one else is willing to say, and to take the positions that others aren't willing to take, and to fight the fight in a way that others aren't willing to fight it. In every job I've been in, right, it's consistent, and we see it, right? We're the ones, but it's so detrimental to us, and everyone will let us, like, they'll let us crash and burn, right? and then go, oh, man, she couldn't take it. She couldn't handle it, right? She, clearly didn't deserve to be here in the first place. And it's like, no, I'm in here fighting for my life and y'all are in my office. Oh yeah, we need to talk about this issue and this issue. And then we're in a meeting and you're quiet, right? Like we get to the vote and it's us running out the back door, or what, 7 of us? You know what I mean? Where are the rest of y'all? Like, and so I do believe in service, and I'm not saying that we abandon our people, but I think what is important is I feel like it's been ingrained in us as Black women to put everything above ourselves. And the way I'm taking my cape off is by not abandoning myself in the service of others.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that the idea of duty, it should not be just one set of folks who have duty. Right?
Yeah.
Like everybody else sitting on the sidelines rooting for you to put yourself through some pain or to do something. And, when you need that help, will they be there?
Yeah. And we see that even in our families, right? Mm-hmm. And then we are disparaged. You're unhealthy. You're not, taking care of yourself. You're blah, 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 blah. Right. And it's like, yeah, because we're taking care of everyone else. So you know what? You're right. Like, we're going to stop abandoning ourselves and start taking care of ourselves above serving everyone else. And I think there's room in your life to do both. But I think that in order, I hate the phrase, you can't pour from an empty cup, because I think it assumes that our entire purpose is to pour from ourselves. But I do think that there has to be something to encompass the feeling that you are deserving of giving to yourself,
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. So I think we need to make a pivot. We need to talk about stuff that's going on this week. And I want to get your take on Shannon Sharpe losing his job. I'm a plumber. We're going to have to talk about people in their jobs this week.
I am so tired of successful Black men losing their jobs, or men, like, here's what I don't understand. You've grown. Like, this girl you could have fathered this woman. Like, I don't understand how you think that you aren't not being set up for something in this day and age when you have money and you are in the public eye and you are saying crazy stuff on these phones that record whatever. Like, I don't get it. I don't know how many more men have to get caught up in scandals for y'all to act like, you've got something to lose. You out here acting like you don't have anything to lose. I'm very disappointed in Shannon Sharpe.
Well, and I also think, if you're going to do stuff, pick somebody who also has something to lose. Like, this is so predictable. Like, when you walk into the door and you see this person who is a child, basically, okay, you're in your 50s, this is a child. And you this power differential, right? You looking at her because she's young. And then you get upset because she does what young people do. Okay? Don't get upset because young people be in some mess. If you want somebody discreet, if you want somebody you need somebody who has something to lose.
The child, and listen, this is not to disparage people who make money on OnlyFans. It wouldn't be my choice of how I wouldn't want my daughter to make a living on OnlyFans. But I think that when you have someone who does make a living on OnlyFans, that is someone who is making a living by taking advantage of, these desires of men, right? Men who have whatever it is, right? Who are going to objectify you, right? This is a person who attempts to skirt, right, the bounds of, like, professions. And so this idea that you think that this person has, like, what in common do you have with them? And so I do think you're right. It is the power differential. It is someone who you can control. It is someone who, you can't look down on you, I guess. I think the big question mark for me is, why in the world does someone who is as successful as he is, why are you dating someone who makes a living on OnlyFans?
Why is that even attractive to you?
Why is that even attractive to you?
The question is, and why is it so attractive that you would risk your career for it? Why would it be like at this point? And this is the other thing that I thought was really telling. So he has this daughter, and the daughter was getting married, and he gave her like a $40,000, supposedly gave her like a $40,000 budget for her wedding. How much did he pay that lady? How much did he pay that lady? If your priorities are straight, right? You don't budget more for your girlfriend who really wasn't your girlfriend than you do for your daughter.
And the delusion is, and that maybe they're okay with it, but if you don't think that these folks are just with you for your money, like, you're deluding yourself. And I think that about like every, age gap where the man has a lot of money, right? You are with him because he has money and can do the things for you. Like, if you were broke and living in a cardboard box or 1-bedroom apartment, or like, they wouldn't even see you. Right? It is your money and what you can do for them that has attracted them. And this idea that you are somehow in control of that situation is wild to me. Like, the fact that he, in the position that he's in, didn't have NDAs. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna be however you are, if you're gonna be into people that make their money on OnlyFans, do your thing, but be smart. Like, his lawyers have got to be just like banging their heads against the wall.
Yeah, because he had really started to build what was going to be like. Yeah, Shannon Sharpe had been on TV doing something very minor roles, but in the last 2 to 3 years, he had peaked his head up. That Club Shay Shay was doing numbers. He was getting, exposure, more exposure on even the ESPN shows that he was on. Got out of that stuff with Skip Bayless and, really turned that into like another level for him. And within months, it's gone. So now
he set himself up for failure.
He's got the podcast. He got the podcast.
Yeah.
He's got his NFL retirement. It's just sad. But I want to, that's sad for one reason. I want to keep on the NFL and talk about something that's sad for another reason. Shedeur Sanders.
There are, you feel like there are kids who it's like they're your internet nephews. Like, we talked about how Blue is like we're she's our internet niece. I feel like Shedeur is like our internet nephew. Like, I'm rooting for him so hard because when you're in your 40s and you've been in the workplace, we've all seen people who have been set up, who are being set up to fail. And unfortunately for him, I think there is this idea of, not only do we want you to fail, but if you fail, it'll be viewed as your father failing as well.
Yeah. And this is the thing too, like, it is the public nature of the humiliation that they put that child through, who is 23 years old, I think. And to make him run these rituals of saying he's not good when they know he's good. They know he's good. To have your boss come out and say, I didn't want to hire him. And he has the best statistics out there. Like I'm I'm an employment lawyer, so I get so invested in things like this because people say that you're not that the economy and just people will they will take the best of all people, that race won't play a factor, gender won't play a factor. They'll look for the best. And, it's just capitalism says the cream will rise to the top and people will not overlook something that is good in order to be mediocre. Okay. They say it all the time. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make business sense to do it. I can tell you, this is showing you how, even though it doesn't make sense, people do it. People do it every time because I'm tracking the numbers. Like, I'm trying to see how many reps he's getting. I'm seeing who they're going to give him reps with. Is it the first team, the second team? They had this boy playing with the equipment managers. And he's got like 70, he has the highest completion percentage of anyone. All of these people that they have out here. They got Flacco, they got this other dude, Pickett, they got Dylan Gabriel, they got all these other kids, and he has the best completion percentage of all of them. But no, he's not, he's not top in there. He's not our choice. The owner of the team saying, I didn't really want to hire him.
The thing that frustrates me about that is this. You are clearly trying to break this young man's spirit, right? If you didn't want to hire him, keep it to, like, why would you say that in an interview, right? Like, you didn't want to hire him. Cool. But you did. And if he is successful, then you are successful, right? If he sells these jerseys that are like the number one selling jersey, you make more money as a team. And so this idea that we didn't want to hire him and then now he's just here, to publicly state those things, right? And listen, I have experienced, you've experienced people that you didn't agree with their hiring coming into your organization, right? And at the end of the day, so many there's raw talent, and we've seen people who were super talented in college, right? Academically, athletically, who go into a profession and completely crash out. And then you see people who have loads of potential, who are coachable, who have it, right? And maybe, need some work and are going to work hard and are going to be invested. Like, that young man flew into that city and was immediately invested in that community. Like, he is exactly what you would want, right? He's not out there drinking and driving. He's not out there acting like he's a gangster. He's not out there fighting dogs. He's not out there, having scandals with OnlyFans models. Like, he's giving his time back to a community that he just moved into. He's out there practicing. He is trying to be a good ambassador for your team. So whatever capacity he has success in with your team is going to benefit you. And for you to get onto everyone's TVs and radios and podcasts and say, oh, I didn't want to hire him. Like, you are intentionally trying to break his spirit. And we have all seen that in organizations, whether sports organizations or corporate organizations. Like, I think we get to this age, right, where we've seen companies try to break the spirit of people.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's super sad because they're losing, right? You're gonna lose. Like, it would just make much more. And you can't understate also the effect his father is having on this, and the idea that, they said it was a fluke when he was at HBCU coaching, and then he takes it to Colorado, and you're not going to be that good, and he completely revitalizes that program, puts all these kids in the NFL first time. They were just, they were terrible, and then now they are at least on a trajectory. Now I don't know where the recruiting looks like, but they're on a trajectory to be much better through nothing more than that man investing in that program and giving his, putting his stamp on it, doing it differently, deciding that he could coach when people said he couldn't coach. Right. And so now he wants to be a father, because I think his whole purpose in this was to set his kids up to do, to do good things. So he's going to be a father, and he goes out and says, there's certain places that aren't going to be a good fit for my kid, which is what Eli Manning's father did for him. Right. And said, listen, this is probably not a good fit for Eli. We're going to put him, we don't want him to be in those places because he's not going to flourish there. And now, when Deion says it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. He's too involved in his children. We have lots of history of strong fathers in the Black community pushing their children to things that no one knew that they could do, and people doubted that they could do. Tiger Woods' dad, the Williams sisters' dad, those ball boys, all of those, they're in the NBA. All of these have very strong polarizing fathers who push their children into places that, great athletic athletic adventures, and they are demonized for doing that.
And I think it is because it's like when any of us do the thing that you've been telling the world we can't do, and when you've been telling the world this is not who we are, right? Black men, although Black men are statistically in the household, right? Like, we want to believe, right, that most of the Black men who, play in the NFL or have success athletically come from single parent homes. Like, that's the narrative that you want to push about who we are as a people, because again, that's something else that breaks your spirit. In reality, when these fathers do what all fathers who are invested in their children do, right? They are always demonized, right? Tiger Woods' father was demonized, right? There's a whole movie about the Williams, Mr. Williams,
Yeah.
right? And it's the craziest thing that when Black fathers do the thing that is opposite to the stereotype that you want to put forth about Black fatherhood, they are demonized. And listen, I think you are right. I think that Shedeur is a victim of not only being put in his place, right? But they're trying to put Deion in his place as well. And I think what frustrates me is when people think that this is just about sports. And so you get all the sports commentators and they're like, oh, he's just not talented and blah, 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 blah. It's like, this is not just about talent. And this is not just about sports. Like, and that to me is the thing about sports. It magnifies societal issues that we see not just in sports, right? You can go into a law firm and see, young lawyers who lack talent, who are sponsored, who are taken to networking events, right? And you'll see, a Black lawyer, young associate, who has the same talent level or maybe more than that, but we don't want you to succeed, right? You were allegedly a diversity hire, right? There's that partner who didn't want you to be brought on in the first place, and so they aren't invested in you being successful. Like, we see what is happening to Shedeur play out in law firms and in companies across the country.
It's so
and
it's so obvious, and it's so sad because, like, he is probably and he didn't even have to be a NFL Hall of Famer. He's just a kid. He's just a kid. He's just a kid who plays football really well, whose father also played football really well, and who is confident. And the idea of, like, making these people humble when they have no reason to be humble. Literally none. Just none. So
Yeah, I hate that. You remember when he was being drafted, and I forget the other young man that was being drafted at the same time, who like showed up and he had on his suit and his little gold chain, and it was like, oh, look, this is what you want. You want a kid who's humble, and then here comes Shedeur with his big flashy chain. Shedeur is a like, if he were my son, I would be absolutely proud of him.
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If just because you rap, right? Like that's your hobby, cool. Right? Like there was I think he and this other player had linked up, and he like asked, he was joking with them. He was like, "Oh, you want to hop on a song?" And the other guy was like, "No, man, I just want to play football." And folks were like, "That's exactly it. Like, why do you have hobbies?" And this is the thing that, again, is commentary, like societal commentary, right? Social commentary, because that's exactly what happens to us, right? Like, oh, Sara, why do you do all these things? Like, you have these hobbies. And it's like, nobody's talking about the guys who are leaving on Fridays to go golfing, right? Nobody's talking about the guys who on Saturdays, are fishing and hunting, because those are acceptable hobbies, right? But if I go in the studio and my hobby is having a podcast, my hobby is, writing lyrics, my hobby is something that is inconsistent with what you think is appropriate, then it's, oh, how you should just be focused on football. Nobody is just focused on the job that they do.
It is just his job.
It is his job. It is not his life.
It is just his job. It is just his job. But I will say this, he ain't dumb, because he has his deal structured so that he gets from his outside pursuits, he gets to keep get the value of that. So these folks, like, he was like, you don't really have to play me. Just cut me my check from my jersey. You don't have to play me. I'm gonna keep making this content on the internet, and I'm gonna get paid regardless. You can't stop that. So
you can't control that. You can't. That, I think, is the thing that they hate.
Their technically fifth string quarterback has more cachet than anybody further up in the supposed depth chart. They're fifth string.
Wasn't Tom Brady like? Tom Brady was not like highly recruited, right? Like,
I wouldn't say 6th or 7th round or something. Like, he was not in the. I don't know if it's 6 or 7, but he was not like a first round draft pick.
Yeah, this idea, because it happens all the time. We see it all the time, where these folks who attend these small schools, who get drafted later at later rounds, but they have the potential and the work ethic and the drive to become great. I think that he has the makings of a great athlete and a great ambassador for any team that he is on. And it's really disheartening to see the intentionality that is going into attempting to break his spirit. Like, that, I think, is what is the most troublesome to me. It's like, okay, y'all don't, you concerned that maybe he won't have the talent, cool, but that's an internal thing. And it's interesting to me how teams always like to keep things under the vest, but they've been so vocal about their disdain for him.
But their social media team is posting all the stuff about him.
Marketing's like, y'all crazy. It's our guy.
Like,
marketing's like, look, hey, we don't know what their problem is, but
we see we're gonna get these views. But it's so wild. It's so wild, But anyway, we gotta wrap.
Someone in the marketing department saw that interview with the owner and was like, what are you doing?
But it's helping. It's actually helping. I think all this stuff actually helps Shedeur.
Oh, yeah, because I was like, I guess I got to buy the man's jersey.
I know, but I don't want to give them the money. I don't want to give the Browns the money because they're acting a fool, but I want him to get the money, so I think I ain't going to go get him. I think
it was like, you're the Cleveland Browns. Like, chill out.
Right. Y'all ain't even good.
Chill out. Like, this is the most press that like, nobody's checking for you.
I ain't seeing no footage out of nobody else's training camp.
I ain't seeing this owner until this interview. Like, didn't know who he was.
It's
No one's checking for you.
so wild to me. I was like, but you know what? They do have a good track record of not recognizing the talent they have and getting the wrong people. So like, past this prologue. So anyway, we gotta wrap this. So let's.
We gotta wrap it because we gotta work. All right, so let's talk about what we're loving this week.
All right.
How can we influence y'all into
I'm
buying?
gonna influence you into this, girl. You're always talking about your feet, and you don't. And I don't talk about it as much, but my dogs be barking too, and I have really flat feet, and so I am not. I like a good flip flop, but I do not need to be wearing them because my feet are flat. Except I love OOFOS, OOFOS. They are recovery sandals. They have memory foam. They have arch support. I love those shoes. When I was running more regularly, I used to run half marathons. And after I would finish and I would take those shoes off, because I've been out on my feet for that long time, the rest of the day on those OOFOS, feeling good. Feeling good. I this I'm you're gonna love these shoes. They have you feel good.
I'm gonna have to check them out because I am acting now like I am a 45-year-old who needs to get back walking, and I have been on a GLP-1 and then lost it in London and then went ham over the summer. But I'm back on my morning routine, which I think is important when the kids start school. So the thing I'm loving this week, you're gonna laugh at me, but in the morning I'm trying to create a dopamine menu, and so I'm journaling. But journaling is hard for me, so I've got this 5-minute journal, which you write down 3 things you're grateful for, some things that'll make the day great, and an affirmation. And so,
what is dopamine? What? You are into some stuff that is
coffee.
You know what? I love a good multivitamin like anybody else, but every time I talk to you, you got something else. It's like, what was it? Dopamine mining? I don't even know what
dopamine menu.
You of dopamine. So like different things.
Yes. So that you don't get on your phone and get your dopamine fix from TikTok. You find other healthier ways to get your dopamine fix in the morning.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get up and work out. I'll call it my dopamine minute.
That's exactly it. So walking and trying to walk the dog. Anyway, 5-minute journal. Write 3 gratitude. A gratitude practice is important.
You know what I'm grateful for? The insight that I have that I know that if I bought that, it would just collect track. It would just be I ain't no way I would do it. I know there may be some benefit, but you know what? Not my thing.
All right. So what hill are we dying on? The hill that we're dying on today is a classic argument amongst our people. And it is gin or vodka.
And there's only one answer.
I know you're from Detroit. I bet I know your answer.
It's gin.
This gin.
Gin has always been gin. Gin, especially in this August heat. Gin is the perfect spirit. Perfect spirit.
I'm a vodka girl. I will say that in Scotland, they do gin really well. And so I may be turning the page, but like my daddy used to drink Seagram's.
Naughty Head.
I didn't know if you knew.
Naughty Head and Bumpy Face.
That stuff was rough. That stuff was rough. That's why you had the the thick orange juice. Because of course, like when Snoop and them came out, right? You're like, oh, gin and juice. And then you drink it and it's like, why does this taste like rubbing alcohol and juice?
Well, it's more like pine cones and juice. But vodka tastes like rubbing alcohol. Gin tastes like pine cones and juice. But good gin is perfect. Gin, lime, cucumber, tonic, done. I'm there for a gin drink. It's the botanical herbiness. It's good. I love a good gin. I promise you. I will look. They'll be like, we only have vodka. And I'd be like, I'll have wine.
Y'all tell us in the comments what you think. And remember, if there are, if there's a question you have that you want us, an issue you want us to address on the podcast, feel free to shoot us an email at info. No. If there's a question that you want us to answer or an issue that you want us to address, be sure to shoot us an email at ask@feminineandformidable.com. Follow along on all our social media channels at Feminine and Formidable, and check us out.
Yes.
Every week. Download.
Don't forget to download. All right. I'll take you.
All right. See y'all next week.